My brother, you are nothing but your thoughts. What remains is only flesh and bone. Think of roses, and you become a rose garden. Think of thorns, and you become a field of thorns. Mawlana Jalaluddin Rumi. To hear these words is to feel a doorway open inside your chest, a place where the world grows silent and the soul suddenly listens. Because, my friend, when Rumi speaks of thought, he is not speaking of the passing shapes in the mind, the daily noise, or the momentary images that flicker and vanish. He is speaking of the inner climate of the heart, the soil from which your reality grows. He is telling you that the world you experience does not rise from the outside, but from the garden you cultivate within. And perhaps the most surprising truth is this: the garden is always listening to you. Every intention is a seed. Every remembrance is water. Every longing becomes a wind that shapes the branches of your being. If you plant the remembrance of God, your heart blossoms with light. If you plant fear, bitterness, or resentment, the same soil gives birth to thorns. This is why Rumi calls you nothing but your thoughts, not to diminish you, but to remind you of your astonishing power, a power you have been using unknowingly every single day. My friend, let me walk with you for a moment. Imagine a mirror placed before you. Whatever stands in front of it is reflected without judgment. If the face you show is filled with hope, the mirror returns hope. If the face you show is covered in sorrow, the mirror returns sorrow. The heart works the same way. God has placed in the human being a space that reflects exactly what it holds. That is why in Sufi tradition, the heart is called qalb, something that constantly turns, shifting according to what it receives. You are always becoming what you are thinking, what you are remembering, what you are loving or refusing to love. There is a story in the Maswani, one of the early books, where Rumi describes a man who wandered the desert complaining of thirst. He carried a vessel in his hands, yet the vessel was filled with dust because he had never chosen to clean it. How can it hold water, Rumi asks, when you have filled it with what cannot quench a single thirst? The man's condition is the human condition. We ask for peace while feeding our hearts with turmoil. We ask for clarity while filling our minds with confusion. We ask for God while filling ourselves with everything that veils Him. And Rumi's response, again and again, is gentle but firm. Empty yourself, friend. Empty yourself of what hurts you. Empty yourself of what blinds you. Empty yourself of the thorns. Because the heart, once emptied, naturally leans toward the divine, the way a flower leans toward the sun. You see, when Rumi says think of roses, he is pointing toward a reality deeper than positivity or emotional comfort. He is not telling you to pretend. He is telling you to choose the fragrance you want your soul to emit, the fragrance you want the angels to recognize you by, the fragrance that lifts you toward God. A rose garden is not born in a moment. It grows from intention, from patience, from returning again and again to the one who plants roses in the hearts of his lovers. But what does it truly mean to think of roses? It means to hold thoughts that bring you closer to who you are in God's sight, not who you appear to be in the world's eyes. It means to remember that beauty is not an accident. Beauty is created through alignment. And for the seeker on this path, alignment means that your thoughts, your desires, your actions, and your remembrance all bow in the same direction. It means to guard the inner conversation happening in your mind, because that conversation becomes your destiny. There was a saying attributed to one of the early Sufis: "As you think of God, so God becomes your companion." It does not mean that God changes. It means that your awareness changes, your nearness changes, your sense of intimacy expands. When you think of the divine with longing, your heart becomes a home for longing. When you think of the divine with fear, your heart becomes a storm. And when you think of the divine with love, my friend, the heart becomes a universe of stars. Many people imagine that thoughts are weak, soft, harmless. But the Sufis teach that thoughts are winds. They blow across the desert of the soul and shape its dunes. They carve valleys and raise hills. They create paths where there were none. This is why Rumi insists that your thoughts define you, because the one who controls their winds controls their journey. Think carefully, friend. When you are angry, what do you think of? Thorns. When you are jealous, what grows inside you? Thorns. When you cling to old wounds, when you rehearse your pain again and again, the heart becomes a graveyard of broken stems. These thorns do not punish anyone but the one who carries them. They cut you each time you reach inward. They bleed you without mercy. And still, many people choose to water them with their attention. But listen closely. A thorn is nothing more than a rose that was denied light. If you change the direction of your inner sun, the thorns begin to soften. They do not vanish instantly, but slowly, steadily they transform, because every thorn has a memory of what it was meant to be. And this too is Rumi's point. Your soul remembers its true shape. Your heart remembers the fragrance it was created for. When you shift your thoughts, you are not forcing yourself to change, you are allowing yourself to return. There is another story Rumi often referenced. A man knocks on the door of his beloved. A voice from within asks, "Who is it?" The man answers, "It is I." The door does not open. He leaves in sorrow. After a year of burning longing, he returns. He knocks. The voice asks again, "Who is it?" This time he answers, "It is you," and the door opens. This, my friend, is the journey from "I am my thoughts" to "I am what God makes of me." When you align your inner world with the divine, the doors that once remained locked begin to open. Your heart finds its true home. Modern life, with all its noise, distractions, and endless pressure, tries to convince you that your worth is measured by achievements, possessions, or how others see you. But the Sufis whisper a different truth. You are measured by the state of your heart. You are measured by the fragrance you give to the world. You are measured by the quality of your thoughts, because the quality of your thoughts reveals what you worship. Some people worship fear. Some people worship their wounds. Some worship the opinions of others. And some, a rare few, worship the one who created thought itself. These rare ones are the roses of humanity. They bloom even in storms. They perfume even the darkest nights. They carry no thorns in their hands because they have removed the thorns from within. My friend, you may think your thoughts are too chaotic to purify or too loud to silence. But purification in the Sufi path does not begin with silence. It begins with awareness. Just to notice a negative thought is already the first removal of a thorn. Just to witness a fear without merging with it is already a step toward the rose garden. And when you replace that thought with remembrance, even a simple, "Oh God, help me," your garden receives its first drop of rain. Let me share something precious, a truth passed silently from teacher to student for centuries. The heart becomes what it repeats. If you repeat sorrow, you become sorrow. If you repeat anger, you become anger. But if you repeat the name of God, sincerely, regularly, lovingly, then eventually you become a reflection of the one you remember. This is why remembrance is called polishing the mirror. A heart polished by remembrance reflects beauty effortlessly. It reflects mercy. It reflects compassion. It reflects clarity. And the world feels lighter simply because you exist within it. You may have noticed, friend, that roses do not bloom alone. A garden is always made of many roses. Likewise, seekers bloom together. That is why Sufis gather, why they sit together in remembrance, why they speak words that uplift rather than harm. The fragrance of one heart strengthens the other. When you think beautifully, you encourage others to think beautifully. When you carry light, you become a lantern in someone else's night. This is also why Rumi calls you my brother, because on this path, everyone walking toward God is family, and every family member carries a responsibility to guard the atmosphere of their own heart so they do not bring thorns into the arms of others. But what about suffering, the trials life throws at you? Does thinking of roses remove the challenges? No, but it transforms how you walk through them. A rose does not avoid the rain. A rose does not fear the wind. A rose stands open, vulnerable, fragrant, even when the world becomes cold. Because the rose knows something the thorn has never understood. Fragility is not weakness when God is your gardener. And so, my friend, I ask you gently, what thoughts are you watering today? What seeds are you planting in the soil of your heart? What fragrance will you release into the world when life presses you? You are not powerless. You are not a victim of your inner world. God has given you the ability to choose your thoughts, to reshape your heart, to transform your reality. This is not philosophy. This is spiritual law. And every master who walked this path proved it with their lives. My friend, let us continue this journey, for Rumi's words do not end at the surface. When he says, "What remains is only flesh and bone," he is reminding you of something crucial. You are not the body you carry. You are not limited by your shape, your history, or the roles you play in the world. You are the breath that animates the body, the awareness behind the eyes, the traveler beneath the skin. The body is a garment, a beautiful one, a sacred one, yes, but still just a garment. You are the one who wears it. The Sufis say that if you identify with the body alone, you become heavy like earth. But if you identify with the spirit, you become light like wind. And wind, my friend, does not fear obstacles. It flows around them. It finds its way through the smallest openings. It moves across mountains and deserts as if they were nothing. This is the power of the one who knows they are more than flesh. When Rumi walked through Konya, many people saw him as a scholar, a teacher, a jurist. But those who walked closest to him knew he carried a universe inside his gaze. They said that when Rumi looked at you, he did not see your face, he saw your longing. He did not see your flaws, he saw the garden waiting to bloom beneath them. He did not see your fear, he saw the light trapped inside your fear's walls. This is why his words continue to breathe centuries after his passing, because he always spoke to the soul, not the shell. And so when he tells you that you are nothing but your thoughts,
He is inviting you to see yourself with the same divine gaze, to look beyond the shell and into the garden. Because, my friend, sometimes the greatest act of spiritual courage is simply to choose a gentler thought about yourself. Let us walk deeper. Imagine standing in a field at dawn. The air is cold. The sky is a faint blue. The horizon is a thin line of light. At that moment, the world is neither night nor day. It is becoming. Your heart is the same. You are not fixed. You are not finished. You are always becoming. What are you becoming today? The answer depends on the thoughts you welcome into your inner home. Thoughts of gratitude open the windows wide, letting in the light. Thoughts of anger close those windows, suffocating the room. Thoughts of greed fill the air with smoke. Thoughts of love invite the morning breeze. The Sufis say that the heart is like a guest house, and thoughts are visitors. Some come gently, some arrive shouting, some enter without permission. You cannot always control who knocks at the door, but you can choose who stays, who eats at your table, who spends the night, and who is kindly escorted back into the street. This, friend, is self-mastery. Not the absence of negative thoughts, but the wisdom to not let them become permanent residents. There is a story about a disciple who came to his master complaining about dark and painful thoughts. The master led him to a river and said, "Try to stop the water with your hands." The disciple tried, but the water slipped through his fingers. The master said, "Thoughts are like this water. You cannot stop them from flowing, but you can choose where to build your bridge." When the disciple asked what the bridge was made of, the master replied, "Remembrance."
This is why remembrance, dhikr, is the heartbeat of the Sufi path. Because in remembrance, you are not fighting your thoughts, you are redirecting them. You are training the mind to return again and again to the one who gives meaning to every thought. When the mind returns, the heart settles. When the heart settles, the garden grows. And what does it grow? That depends on you. Rumi did not say, "Think of roses and you will attract roses." He said, "You become the rose garden." Do you understand the difference, my friend? You are not simply receiving beauty, you are becoming beauty. You are not waiting for joy, you are turning into a source of joy. You are not hoping for peace, you are becoming a place where peace flows naturally. To become a rose garden is to undergo transformation. The soil of the heart must be softened. Old roots must be cleared. The hidden stones of resentment, pride, and fear must be removed. The Sufis call this tazkiyah, the purification of the soul. It is the process through which the heart becomes capable of receiving divine presence. It is a long process, sometimes painful, always sacred. But hear this clearly. Purification does not make you worthy of God. You already are. Purification simply removes what prevents you from seeing it. Modern life distracts you from this truth. It pushes you into comparison, into competition, into anxiety about the future, and regret about the past. You scroll endlessly, looking for meaning in screens that offer only noise. You rush from task to task, forgetting the stillness that once lived inside you. You forget the garden. You forget the roses. You forget the one who planted them. And yet, beneath all that noise, there is still a faint fragrance in your soul, a reminder that you were created for something more. You cannot hide from this fragrance. Even in your moments of despair,
Even in your most painful nights, the fragrance is there. It whispers to you. It calls your name. It says, return. All of tasawwuf is a return, not a journey toward a distant God, but a journey back to the God who has never left you. My brother, you are nothing but your thoughts. These words are a map back to yourself. Because if your thoughts are dark, you will experience a dark world. If your thoughts are luminous, you will see light even in the cracks of your broken places. If your thoughts are filled with remembrance, then the entire world becomes a mirror reflecting the divine. Let me give you another example, one that Rumi himself lived. When Shams of Tabriz entered his life, people thought Rumi became someone new. They thought Shams transformed him, awakened him, ignited him. But Rumi said something beautiful. Shams did not change me, he reminded me. This is the power of a rose-giving thought. It does not create beauty in you, it awakens the beauty already living inside you.
Many people fear their thoughts because they think negative thoughts make them bad people. But the Sufi master Al-Ghazali teaches that a negative thought is not a sin. Only the decision to dwell in it becomes harmful. You're allowed to feel sadness. You're allowed to feel anger. These emotions are part of being human. But you are not meant to build your home in them. You are meant to pass through them, like walking through a field of thorns on your way to the rose garden. And yes, the thorns may cut you. Yes, the journey may hurt. But your pain is not meaningless. In Sufism, pain is a lantern. It illuminates what needs to be healed. It wakes you up. It pushes you toward transformation. Think of the reed flute in the opening of the Masnavi. Rumi describes the reed crying because it was cut from the reed bed. The sound of the flute is its longing for reunion. Your pain is like that music. It is not a punishment. It is a reminder of where you belong. If you think only of the cutting, you will become the wound. But if you think of the music, you will become the instrument of longing. This is the difference between thorns and roses. Now let me ask you something difficult. When you speak to yourself, which language do you use? The language of thorns or the language of roses? When you look at your past, do you see a story of failure or a story of becoming? When you think of God, do you imagine a distant judge or a loving presence that breathes within you? Your inner language creates your inner world, and your inner world shapes your reality more powerfully than any external circumstance. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that God says, "I am as my servant thinks of me." This hadith is not metaphorical, it is a spiritual law. If you expect mercy, you find mercy. If you expect punishment, even small trials feel overwhelming. This does not mean you control God. It means your perception determines your experience of the divine. Think again of Rumi's words now. Do you see how deep they truly go? You are nothing but your thoughts, because your thoughts are the lens through which you experience God, yourself, and the world. So what should you think of, my friend? Think of beauty, not to escape reality, but to reveal it. Think of mercy, so your heart remains soft. Think of gratitude, so your soul remains open. Think of God, so your path remains illuminated. Think of love, so you become worthy of receiving it. And most importantly, think of who you truly are. A traveler on a sacred path. A soul shaped by longing, a seeker chosen by the divine to return to him through the doorway of awareness. Before we close this journey together,
I want to speak to you directly, heart to heart. You are not alone in your struggle. Every person walking this path has battled their own thoughts, their own shadows, their own thorns. What makes you a seeker is not the absence of darkness, but the courage to walk toward the light anyway. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by your direction. And if your direction is toward God, then every step you take, no matter how small, is sacred. Let your thoughts be companions on this path, not enemies. Let them remind you of who you are capable of becoming. Let them guide you gently back to the garden. And when the nights grow heavy, when your heart feels tired, when you lose faith in yourself, come back to this truth. God created you with a fragrance no one else carries. The world needs your fragrance. The world needs your light. The world needs your garden. My friend, if this message touched your heart, let your heart respond. Leave a comment, share your reflection, or simply write, "I choose roses." It is a declaration. It is a prayer. It is the beginning of your transformation. And if this journey feels good to your soul, do not walk it alone. Subscribe, stay close, and join us for the next video. Because on this path, we walk together.